There I am.
Hi, Dale.
Hey Dale,
So good to see you guys both.
You as well, always.
good to see you. And we've got a minute before we start, so I'll go ahead and do some house cleaning rules real quick. If you've got that little toolbar that's blocking your screen, you can minimize that by clicking on the top left. There's a little orange rectangular box with a white arrow. You can click that; it'll minimize that. And then also, this webinar is being recorded, so everyone who's registered will get a link. Will get an email this afternoon with a link to the recording. And so you can let your colleagues know if they're not able to make it, or if you have to cut out early, you'll still get the whole presentation via the recording in an email this afternoon. And then what else? Oh yeah, we do want your questions. So feel free to type in your questions. I don't know, Dale, are we going to save it till the end, do questions at the end, or?
I always like to do questions throughout, but
Oh, throughout. Okay,
yeah.
perfect. So here's
I
what
love
we'll do.
questions. Everyone knows I love questions.
So here's what we'll do. Once we get started, I'm going to jump out of here. It's just going to be the two of you two, and so you guys won't be able to see my face anymore. Lucky you. But I'll jump back on the end and help field questions on the end. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. And I want to thank everyone for joining our webinars this morning. The title is Shortcutting Your Repetitive Real Estate Tasks. And the thing is, in real estate, you know, with every deal, there's repetitive tasks. And so we've got Krista Mashore with us. She is the owner broker of Homes by Krista, which is in Brentwood, which is up in the Bay Area. And then we have also Dale Warner with us, who's the Chief Operating Officer of Realvolve. And he's going to tell us about this platform that will help you shortcut your tasks, your repetitive tasks. And so he's the Chief Operating Officer at Realvolve. He oversees the strategies and the marketing and you know, day-to-day operations, as well as the customer service initiative. So he's really got his fingers on the pulse of the organization. And between the two of them, they've got a lot to tell you. So sit back, relax. I've got my cup of coffee here, so I'm going to listen to them and pay attention and try to field questions as I go if I can. But other than that, the floor is yours, y'all.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
My pleasure.
So Krista, really good to see you. We don't get to see each other often enough.
I know. Good to see you too, Dale. Thank you for having me on here. I just want to say something real quick. I just learned last night that it's in people's attention span when they're watching a presentation is about 7 minutes. So they can really, after about 7 minutes, they start to kind of wing off. So they were talking about the importance of asking questions and, you know, presenting questions to people, because when you ask questions or questions are presented, it makes your mind think and it kind of brings you back to the conversation. So with that being said, please ask questions, engage. If you want to learn, questions are the way to help you.
Yes, thank you for that. Yeah, we love questions, so ask away. And by the way, the presentation will be better anyway if there's questions, because then we will, you know, we eat and breathe this stuff, and we talk a lot about it, and sometimes we drink our own Kool-Aid too much. So we need
you. We don't know what you don't know, or sometimes we might oversay things or not really be as give as much value as possible. And our goal is to give you as much value as possible and to serve you the best that we can today. So allow us to do so.
That's right. So Krista, you've been a busy bee lately. Where have you been recently?
Oh yeah, well gosh, I've been all over the place. I was in Houston, and I was in San Diego, and I was in LA, and I was also in Idaho, just all trainings and teaching. So I've been busy.
Yeah, so thank you for, even though you've been busy, thank you for taking a few minutes to join us here on the webinar. I've had the pleasure and the privilege of seeing you speak live, watching a lot of your Facebook lives, watching webinars with you, and they're some of the best I've ever seen. So I really appreciate you joining us today, because I'm looking forward to asking you more about your team and about your assistant and about the things that you've done to shortcut things in smart ways. Last time you and I chatted, I learned a ton about what you're doing with Facebook ads and with videos and just dominating your local market with your team. So I'm excited to understand a little bit more about how you guys planned all of the shortcutting, how you decide where to spend attention on your business, what needs the most attention, and just all the latest tips that you're working on in your business.
Yep, I'm here to share.
So again, make sure for those of you that are just joining, it looks like there's a lot more people here now. Make sure to ask questions throughout. Make sure you put in the chat there that you can hear us, that you can see us okay, and we'll hopefully get to your questions. So first things first, want to know what everybody's hoping to get out of this webinar. So if you could take 1 second, go to the chat there and ask, or go to the question section there and put in what's one thing you really hope to get out of this webinar today. We're going to be talking about systems, we're talking about automation, we're talking about teams, we're talking about shortcutting repetitive tasks. Krista and her team are the best of the best. So she's got a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom that she can share with all of us. But if you don't put your question in there, we won't know what to cover. So there you go. So I see some starting to come in here.
Yay.
So the first thing I wanted to talk about, so I know, and this is not scripted, but I've just been curious lately, Krista, about mindset, because you talk a lot about mindset. I think a lot of people talk a lot about mindset, but I don't think everybody, in my experience anyway, not everybody really understands how to make sure that they have the right mindset every day about not just their problems that come up, but beginning their day and finishing strong every day and every week. And again, you've talked a lot about mindset. What would you share with us today? What's your latest thinking around mindset and how that plays into your real estate business?
You know, you get what you think in everything you do in life. You absolutely get what you think. So there's a book I'm reading by Dr. Max Maxwell, and it's called Cybernetics, and it's that is the last name? Let me just verify the last name. But it's such an amazing book because he talks about how your mind is a mental map and how you absolutely get everything that you think about, and just the importance of constantly feeding good things into your mind, giving yourself positive, focusing on your accomplishments, repeating your successes, understanding that when you have failures, recognizing them but not focusing on them. Many people forget to really recognize just how well they're doing. Yes, sorry. So it's Psycho Cybernetics from Maxwell Maltz. If you look right here, here's a picture of it. This is an amazing book, and I just love listening to him. It's very easy reading, easy listening. I'm an audiobook person, and it's just, you get what you think. So think that you can. If you think you can, you will. Focus on what you want your outcome to be. What do you want the end result to be? And just keep it positive. I mean, positive in, positive in, positive in. I cannot help but always say that. And there's going to be some days where, Monday I had a rough day. It was one of those days I couldn't kind of get out of my funk. And we can't always all be perfect, but the more that you focus on all the good things that are happening to you, the more you're going to get good things. The more that you focus on the bad things that are happening to you, you're going to continue to get bad things. So love yourself. I mean, truly love yourself, and know that you're all in a very competitive industry, but it doesn't mean there's not enough for all of us to have complete abundance. And that's one thing, that's why I'm on this webinar, because I really feel that real estate agents have really, they operate in a state of lack and not in abundance. And because they're operating in a state of lack, they're not really helpful towards each other. They're not really kind to each other a lot of the time. You see a lot of, not right competitiveness, if that makes sense, and some ethical things that can kind of go on. But we don't have to be that way, right? Meaning, I'm going to attract the kind of clients that want to work with me. Other people are going to kind of attract the clients that want to work with them. And quite frankly, you want to work with the people that are attracted to you because they're going to be an easier person to work with. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I answered that right, but that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, no, that's exactly along the lines of what I was thinking. So what do you think about, so there's a lot of people that come to us well, let me just back up for a second.
Can I say something? Can I say
yeah,
something?
Sure.
I want to help you. So I'm a coach, and do you know that we talk to people all across the country? And do you want to know what every single person says that they want? They say, I want more time. Every single person wants more time. They also want more money, right? But
Sure.
you know, I can go into a whole story about money and why you want money and all that. But they all want more time because this industry sucks up our time because we allow it to. Number one, we don't set proper expectations. But you know, you're on this program right now because you're wanting to get systems in place that will help you have more time. And I will tell you is that there's a learning curve when you learn a new system, and it's scary sometimes, but anytime anything is really, really good, it's kind of hard to get there. Things that are just so easy, usually the outcome isn't quite as grand at the end, right? Mm-hmm. So the software that we're talking about right now is Realvolve, and Realvolve is something that I've adapted into my business, which has saved me enormous amounts of time. It's saved my students enormous amount of time. In fact, they call, you're gonna like this. So they call, you know how Alexa, there's Alexa, hey Alexa, they call Realvolve Roxy, Rocks, because they're making it easier. Rob, it's Rob, R-O-V. Like, hey Rob, like what would Rob do? You know, because it has changed their life so much because everything is systematized, meaning, I'm done.
Yeah, so this is exactly what I've been thinking about lately. I was recently listening to a friend of mine talk, and we were talking about Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. You know, it's like one of the most successful early self-help books. Yeah, Think and Grow Rich, right? And so most of us have probably read that book, but for those of you that don't know, Napoleon Hill got access to very, very extremely successful politicians and business people during the Industrial Revolution through Andrew Carnegie, who was, you know, super wealthy, crazy wealthy, successful guy. And Andrew Carnegie got him access and told him, I want to study all these successful people, figure out what they all have in common. Napoleon Hill wrote Think and Grow Rich. On page 1 of the book, he outlines, I think there's like 17 or 19 things total in there that he put that says this is what successful people have in common. Page 1, the most important thing is that you need to have a definite purpose.
Definiteness of purpose.
Yes. If you don't have that purpose, everything is more difficult. The more purpose you have, the more purpose you can imbue into yourself, into your being, the easier everything becomes, because then you're not relying on your willpower so much. You're relying on the purpose, the drive that you get from the purpose, the meaning you get by pursuing and fulfilling that purpose. And when I think about that, I think about the Cheshire Cat in Lewis Carroll's book, Alice in Wonderland. Alice says, which direction should I go? And the Cheshire Cat says, where do you want to end up? And she goes, I don't know. I don't know. And he's like, well, then it doesn't matter which way you go. So people come to me and they say, do I need a CRM? Well, what CRM do I need? Which systems do I need? Where do you want to end up? That's the question. Where do you want to end up? If you don't know where you want to end up and why you're doing this and why you're here on this webinar today, it doesn't matter, right?
First of all, let me just say this. I want to tell you all, you should really be patting yourself on the back because you're on this webinar, because that means that you have a love for learning. You're trying to improve your business. As soon as you stop learning, you're dying, right? So the fact that you're even on this webinar shows that you're a true leader and you want to strive to be better. So I want to compliment you. We are all so busy and our time is so valuable. So the fact that you're here, you guys rock, and I mean that too. There's how many real estate agents are there? And there's what, 100 people on this webinar. So congratulations that you guys are taking the time to better yourselves and better your business, which means you want to serve your clients better, right? Because it's all about really serving people and giving the most amount of value. And this software does so. So I kind of want to get into what it does and how it's helped my team, help me.
Yeah. So okay. I want to talk about two last points to set the stage, and then let's get into Realvolve a little bit. One thing is, and so thanks for keeping things moving along, by the way, but two things that I've been thinking about lately that I think are really, really important for all of us in real estate to understand. Number one, most of us hate our CRM. As salespeople, it feels like a tyrant. Our calendar feels like a tyrant to us. We feel like I'm just a slave to my calendar. I'm a slave to this CRM. We feel guilty about not using it as much as we should. And a lot of us just hate it. And a lot of us probably feel like we've never found a CRM that we love. And am I right or am I wrong? Probably.
Most people, I think, feel that way. I've gone through
about most people. So some people love it and they understand the benefit, right? So most people don't love it, but they hear everybody talking about why they need it. So their coach tells them why. You're saying it's a huge part of your business, why you're able to do 150 plus transactions a year with a tiny team, mostly listings. You go on every listing appointment. All of those things wouldn't be possible without really good systems. So that's one thing, that we know we need it. Maybe we don't really know why we need it, but we know that everybody says we need it, and we've never found anything we like. That's one thing. On the other side, I just was looking at Swanepoel numbers for the top brokerages in the country. Now, I'm the kind of guy that's going to go in and analyze all those brokerages and try to figure out what are the top brokerages doing right. So I know we have broker owners on the call. You're a broker owner, Krista. We've got team leaders on the call. We've got individual agents on the call. And sometimes we think, I don't care about the whole industry. I just focus on my little market here. I'm focused on my neighborhood. But if you take a step back every once in a while, like on a webinar today, and look at the horizon and look around and see what's going on, I analyzed the 50 top brokerages in the United States. And I wanted to know what the top have in common and what do the 1 or 2 top ones have in common. Now, I don't know if you realize this, but the top brokerages in the real estate industry in the United States are averaging 30 transaction sides per agent per year. That's like 3rd and 4th place are like at 7 or 8 transaction sides per agent per year. So 1 and 2 are like at 30 and 22 per agent per year, and the rest of us are at 7 or 8 average. Now, obviously, there's a lot of us that are doing a lot more than that, but those averages the spread on those averages is crazy. Now, I will tell you what those top brokerages have in common is they have systems that you are nearly compelled to use, or you don't stay a part of that organization.
It's a requirement in mine because,
right.
So let me tell everyone so you heard he said, all the top teams, all the top brokerages, all the top agents, they have CRMs. And what do we learn? We've learned to replicate and copy success, right? If you want to be successful, you follow somebody else that's doing better than that you're doing, right? That's the reason why I have a business coach, because I want to continue to be the best I can be. It's not a real estate business coach, by the way. It's a leadership coach, because I want to show up the best that I can, right? So I'm going to go be trained and taught by somebody who's better than I am. If Dale is telling you that all the top brokerages and teams are using CRMs, it means you need one. The biggest mistake that I made early on in my business, and I'll tell you, my first year in the business, I sold 69 homes. I know that sounds crazy, but I did. I was on survival mode back then. I just gotten divorced and I bought a new house and I had 2 kids and I was a single mom, left my teaching job to get into real estate to have more time and freedom, right? Oh my gosh, that was crazy. And so I did really well. I spent the first 10 years of my business with no CRM. Do you know that I sold on average 100 homes every single year for those first 10 years? So that means I had so many clients, and my clients love me. Like, they love Krista because I do everything I can to make my clients happy. But you know how many of those clients I lost because I didn't have a CRM? And it's just like when you meet this great contractor, or you know, if you're not reminded about that contractor, you're like, who was that contractor? You forget. It's no different with you. So whether you're just starting out or whether you've been in the business for a long time and you don't have a good CRM that you're being able to stay in front of people's faces, you need to get one right away. So I will tell you, that was one of the biggest mistakes that I made in my business. And I wish I would have taken it more serious. I said I didn't have the time, but quite frankly, I realize now, oh my gosh, I wasted so much time. I mean, I've wasted months of my life by not properly setting up systems in my business to help me be successful. So take the time now to save the time later. Put the little sweat equity in now. Go back to your database, put them in your CRM, so that later on you can have more time and more freedom and more financial freedom as well.
Yeah, so I think, so getting into Realvolve and what we actually do here in the CRM, the workflow platform that we have, the thing that's a little bit different than us is almost everything you do in Realvolve is based on templates. And when I say templates, I think most of us just think of email templates, maybe text message templates, maybe scripts for phone calls. But in Realvolve, everything can be templated out. So data entry itself can be templated out, and it's across time. Things happen in the right time with the right people, and it's all templated, so it's all shortcutted. So we're going to get into this in depth here, but think about a workflow as a series of things that have to happen both online and offline that need to happen with certain people, because if we're in real estate, then obviously things need to happen with inspectors, with title companies, mortgage, whatever. There's all these different things that need to happen with different people, and they have to happen at the right time. What happens with most systems is, let's just say you have a series of 50 tasks that have to happen on a transaction. In a lot of other systems, you'll start like a plan or a campaign or whatever it might be, and all those tasks get assigned to you either all at once, or they get assigned to you using time delays that are just arbitrary time delays that you set up ahead of time. Now, what happens with that? And again, we'll get more detailed into this. What happens with those processes when they're not smart enough to keep up with you is you begin to not trust the system anymore. You abandon the system because now you have 50 tasks that are assigned to you in your task list, and 49 of them you can't even do yet. And you're having to look past the 49 you can't do to find the one that you can do. So we're designing a system here at Realvolve that only shows you the things that you can do and should do today. And you can filter and look at it however you want. You can say, I want to see what's going on this week. I want to see what's going on this month. But
here's the thing that he just said that I want to kind of elaborate on. There are a lot of questions in the chat bot, just so you know. So just so that you guys know, I see those, and I want to try to get to all of them if we can. Anyways, so he just said that Realvolve sets up your day in a way that you come to your computer or you on your phone, and it tells you exactly what you have to do. Do you realize how many tasks you have on any given day, and how often your phone rings and then you forget, what you were going to say 5 minutes later, because your brain gets there's just so much going on in your brain that your brain never gets a chance to relax. When you have a system that tells you, okay, here's what you need to focus on today, it allows your brain to breathe, and it allows you to get more done. All right. So that's why it's so important. And what we do in our business is that every single time frame, task, what to do next is in a workflow. So we never have to think about, did I do that? Because the system tells us to, and then we do it. And not only that, but how many times are you writing the exact same email or the exact same text message, or reminding somebody for an appointment, or telling them, hey, don't forget to make sure your water heater is double strapped for your appraisal. All those things you should only do one time, and then you never should do them again, because you're going to have to do them every single time you sell a house or work with a buyer or seller, correct? So therefore, why don't we systematize it and put it into a template so that when you press X and you put these dates in, that every single thing is automatically automated for you and just tells you exactly what to do and when. So it gives your brain a little bit of a break. And somebody asked what I'm drinking. I don't drink caffeine, so just know it's not caffeine, because I already have way too much energy. It's just like a little healthy type of a drink. So it's water with some good stuff in it.
So I'm actually going to pull up so hold on one second. I'm pulling up a different slideshow here. So I wanted to show everybody something. Let's see.
I hope we're on break.
What's that?
I want people to be excited.
Yeah, so I wanted to show everybody the four Ds of automation that Realvolve is built on. I didn't have it in that slideshow here. So this is the 4D automation. Now, for those of you asking, there's a couple of people asking, what is a CRM? So a CRM is a customer relationship management database tool, right? So you put all your customers in there, the vendors you work with, your team members, you put everybody in there, and you can keep track of communications. That's what it was originally built for, keep track of communications and follow-ups and things like that. It's a must-have. Even if you're just starting out, you have to have a CRM of some sort. Keep track of everything you possibly can. I know sometimes it feels like a waste of time. It is not, I promise you. There's always a time, 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road, where you are going to kick yourself for not keeping track of your customers and the communications that you had with them. Now, Realvolve builds automation around these 4 Ds: time delays, specific dates, and I already told you other systems can do those 2 things. Realvolve adds this other layer of decision points and other things getting done. So what happens is now we can take your process from a single dimension, a linear process, into a multi-dimensional process or multidimensional flow, so that a real live real estate plan can actually be built into the automation. Here's an example of what that would look like.
And you have to understand something about Realvolve too while you're showing that. Realvolve is a thinking system. So basically, if A happens, then you'll do B. But let's just say B happens, then Realvolve will do C or D. Does that make sense? And I have to say, I'm going to call somebody out on here. Tom Rogers, you said that it takes too much time to input and keep up with. I will tell you that I had that same thought way back when. And I look back and I realized, I mean, I've been doing this for 16 years, right? So I've sold just under 2,000 homes in my career. I've sold a lot of homes. I didn't implement this until about year 10, 11. That means 11 years I had no CRM. I had no transaction management system that told me to do A, B, and C. And I lost months of my life. I mean, when I say I lost months of my life, I lost months of my life because I was not operating efficiently. Right? So yes, it takes time in the beginning, but nothing that's great is easy. But once you have it all in there, it's super simple because you put the dates in and then everything is done for you. You don't forget things. You know what to do when. You're reminded of something. Somebody calls you. You can click and grab your phone and know every single detail about the transaction on one screen. You can see what the last conversation was. You can task yourself when you're going to call them again. And it's done most of the time already automatically in there. It saves you so much time. You can't not take the time now to do it. And I mean, I'm telling you that as a top producing agent who sold 151 homes last year. All right. So it works. And now I have a team because I'm focusing more on coaching than I am selling. So without Realvolve, I would not be able to maintain the kind of still close the personal production, the personal relationship I have with my clients. I would not be able to have a clear head. I would not be able to, I'd be paralyzed, absolutely paralyzed, because there's too many things that can go wrong. And here's the deal. This real estate industry is changing daily, right? And so we have innovation and technology, and you need to adapt to it, because I believe in the next 5 years, we're going to have two types of agents. We're going to have the high producing agents that give so much value and service, and they're gonna be those type, and then there's gonna be the discount brokerages, right? The Realtor.coms, the Zillows that are now trying to become agents too. It's gonna be one or the other. So pick your platform, because if you want to be up here, which is where I am, and I'm gonna be, I need to make sure I show up that way to my people, right? And when you have automation and systems, and you show up like you're just completely, you dot every I and cross every T, and it looks easy to you, that's how you stay up here. You can't do it without a CRM, especially if you want to do a lot of business. You're on this call because you want to do more business. You'll do more business, but you've got to start out the right way.
And it's about the time and the time and the money freedom, right? You want more time freedom, you want more money freedom. You're only holding yourself back if you don't start doing it now. I say that as a person that's been running sales teams for over a decade now. I can't imagine ever trying to run sales without a CRM. I can't imagine doing it. You can, it's possible. A lot of people do it, but you're slower than you could be. That's the bottom line. Now, Stephen R. Covey always used to say, you ever been too busy driving to stop for gas? And that's what, to me, that's what it feels like if you don't take the time to set up the CRM. Now, a CRM is a customer relationship management database, like we said, but we also, Realvolve has a workflow platform. So saying CRM almost kind of discounts what we do. Most
platforms, though, they're not a CRM and a transactional management system.
Right.
Realvolve is. So basically, when you go under contract, or if you, let's just say you have a listing appointment you're going on, right? You can set, there's workflows that you can set to say, okay, I've got a listing appointment. I need to do X, Y, and Z, right? I need to create my, my market analysis. I need to drop my market analysis off. I need to actually show up for the appointment. What do I do after the appointment? I need to send a card. I need to, follow up with them. I need to do an email. I need to blah, blah, blah. It sets all of that up with you. Now, that was just one workflow, right? There's a workflow for everything. There's a workflow for being an escrow. There's a workflow for after escrow. There's a workflow for just any part of the transaction you can imagine. And every single action that you need to take during that part of the transaction is automated, it's put in there already for you. So you just push a button, you put numbers in and dates in, and then it just kind of spits everything out.
Yeah. So let's go through by the way, these are workflows, can be for lead conversion, or working a new referral that you just got. It can be for transaction, it can be for listing, it can be pre-listing appointment, it can be pre-listing, it can be active listing maintenance, It can be after close follow-up. So there's all kinds of different things you can do. We have people that use Realvolve workflows to help them organize their movie events, or stopping by all their clients' house to drop off gifts, or pie drop-offs and pie events. So you can use it for almost anything in your residential real estate business to help automate things, make it smoother, elevate your level of customer service while spending less time. Now, when you look at the technology itself, there's really two things we think about: decisions that need to be made and storing information. It's really so thinking and storage, right? You should let the technology do as much storage as possible. You shouldn't be using your brain power to store that much information. Let the technology store the information and you do the thinking. The cool thing about Realvolve is we'll help you do some of the thinking as well. You do the higher level thinking and the relationship building and thinking about your clients' emotions and all the other things that you barely have time to do when it gets into the busy season. So of course, most of us can easily manage our business around Christmas time, for example, when there's not that much going on maybe in our market. But when it gets into the summertime, you're holding yourself back.
If you're operating your business properly, you're still going to be closing in December, right? Because everyone else goes.
I agree, but this is the excuse. I'm just refuting the excuse.
I know. I'm just telling everyone though, if you have the right systems and procedures in place, you won't be slow at Christmas time. There's still just as many buyers looking at Christmas time, and there's less inventory on the market. So make sure you're the one that has that inventory.
Right. If you're already a Realvolve customer, by the way, this is not the right webinar for you, obviously. If you want a deeper dive on Realvolve, just shoot us an email at info@realvolve.com. We'll do a one-on-one demonstration with you. If you're already a customer and you're looking for more information, just reach out to us. We'll get you some really good attention. Make sure we address your specific needs and not do any overview type stuff. We'll go deeper even. So let's go with this example. So this example, let's just say I'm the buyer's agent. I'm scheduling a home inspection to happen with my client. So we already made an offer on the house and I already started a workflow when we made the offer and it was accepted. So I start the workflow to open escrow and get all this stuff done. Now I'm at the home inspection phase. What I would do in Realvolve now, because this is a workflow that's already been built and it's already running. I would run this workflow on every buyer escrow that I'm running. And so I started the workflow. Now it's inspection time. I drag and drop the home inspector onto the transaction here on Goshawk Road. What I would do next is make sure to schedule the date and time of the inspection. Now Realvolve knows a few things. It already knew who the buyer and their spouse were. It already knew that I was the buyer agent because I put all that in earlier ahead of time. And now it knows the date, time, and location of the inspection and who the inspector is. So what would happen now is I have a milestone date is what we would call it in Realvolve. The milestone is the inspection. Before that inspection, there would be an email and a text message that would go out to everybody involved saying, hey, don't forget to show up to the home inspection tomorrow at such and such a time. And Realvolve inserts the time, it inserts the location, and it automatically copies all of the people that should be included. Now, when you think about that one little automation right there, a lot of us would say, well, that only really saves me 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever. Yeah, but how many times every day are we doing things that only took us 2 or 3 minutes? Our whole day is spent in 2, 3, 4, 5 minute chunks because we're project managers as real estate agents. We're having to remember all deadlines and collect documents and coordinate with people. And so our day disappears in 5 minute chunks. So every 5 minute chunk you can get back is really valuable to your decision-making capabilities. So yeah, maybe this one example saves you this much time, but I can't even tell you how much freedom you get back in your brain. That's the whole point. So you automate that part of it. The next day you show up for the appointment. And by the way, if you're not doing these kinds of reminders, you're missing opportunities to just knock the socks off of your clients at a really high level of concierge type customer service, which we should all be striving for. Then the home inspection takes place. Then a day after or 2 days after, for example, Realvolve will send you a text message that says, did you get the home inspection report back from the inspector? Now you can check a box, yes or no, in Realvolve. If you say, I don't yet have the report back, it can trigger an email that goes off to the inspector that says, hey, thanks so much for coming out a couple of days ago, just checking when I could expect that report from you. It's all automated, pre-written. All you did was check a box. And then of course, once you get it back, you could be reminding yourself to any kind of due diligence that you have to do, negotiating repairs, etc. And all of that can be scripted out for you in the Realvolve workflow. So all of that stuff is automated. Now, this is just one milestone, just the home inspection. And there's other things that you could include here based on your process. So everybody has a different rules in their municipalities. There's HOAs, there's wells, there's septic, there's termite inspections. There's all kinds of different things that have to happen based on where a property is located, based on what type of property it is. The cool thing about Realvolve is you can plan for any of those options, and Realvolve can be smart enough to only serve up the things that matter to that specific type of a property. We call it groups. So things are grouped together in a really smart way. It just blows you away, because when you're using it, it just kind of feels like things are working along with you. Right, Krista?
Absolutely. It just makes it so much easier. And people are asking a lot of questions about, how exactly it works. It's as simple as anything that you've ever done once, right? You're going to probably do it again. So you create what we call a workflow, or there's already pre-written workflows, so that you're reminded of everything. Your clients are reminded. Your clients are, automatically, once you put a date in there, every client is reminded about through an email and through a text message of that appointment. They're reminded of what to do. I personally send all of my clients through Realvolve a video email throughout the entire transaction process. So I have BombBomb, and BombBomb incorporates with Realvolve, and I've made videos through like when you're going on a home inspection, what to expect during a home inspection, or the appraisal is happening, what to expect during the appraisal. It's time to do request for repairs, what to expect for that. It's time for signing, what you need to bring. So they're seeing me, even though they're not really physically seeing me, they're seeing me through all of these different time points in the during the transaction, because I'm showing up through video. And just in case you guys don't know, a video is equivalent, 1 minute of video is equivalent to 1.8 million words. So I'm constantly infusing video into my workflows so that they're reminded that I'm still involved in the process, even though physically I'm not as involved as I used to be, because I'm focusing more on coaching than I am actually selling. So without Realvolve, I would never have been able to still appear as though I'm as involved as I am. And able to keep on top of everything and know what's happening just at a glance if I didn't have a system like this put into place. It's really amazing how it can change your life and save you the time. Like, there's questions under how do you set up your day, and how do you have time with your kids? You have time with your family and your kids, number one, by creating boundaries with your clients. That's one thing. And also by setting up systems that allow you to know exactly what to do and when, and that do a majority of it for you, right? And not only that, but I just went to a class, a risk management class, and she said that 1 in 4 transactions, it seemed kind of high to me, but 1 in 4 transactions end up in mediation. Do you know that when you go to mediation or arbitration, you need to have all of your facts in a row, right? You need to be able to know what happened, when it happened. When you use Realvolve, that's super simple, because you just call the client right from your phone, and when you're done, it says you can talk to text a note about what that conversation was. The only way you're going to remember important conversations is by actually doing that right after it happened, and by talking to text right into the phone in that actual transaction at that time is going to save your butt later on. And then everything else is stored there as well. And also you can show that you're someone who takes their business seriously because you've done all these different things, if that makes sense.
So here, I want to show everybody what it would be like to actually start a workflow in Realvolve, so that you can see this actually working in the system. All right, so is everybody seeing my screen here? Are you seeing my Realvolve account there, Krista?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So here, this is hanging off the page. All right, so this is just a sample database here. There's a couple of cool things I'll talk about in just a minute, but one of my favorite features in Realvolve is this cross section here that shows you all of your different clients and what categories they belong to. So the system kind of automates some of this, keeps your clients categorized for you based on if you've done deals with them, if they've given you referrals, all that kind of stuff. So once they become a client and you do a transaction with them, Realvolve can automatically move them into that past client stage. And then it will show you which people need follow-ups and why. So if I click on one of these boxes, I want them all to be zeros, meaning I followed up with everybody that should be followed up with. But I click on one of these, it shows me who I need to follow up with and why. It says, you should give Dale a call, you've not talked in over 90 days. Well, I can actually shoot a text message right here and type my text message and follow up with that person. I can shoot an email from here. I'm not clicking around into the contact record. I can choose from a template and then fire off this email right from that screen. Once I'm done, I just go back onto the next follow-up, and that person would drop off if I followed up with them. There's all kinds of really cool shortcuts in Realvolve like that, but I want to show you the workflows because that's really the most powerful thing about our system and what people generally use the most.
Too. People want to see, they want to see an example of the workflows. They want to see an example of, you know, how it tasks the time, you know, how it keeps all the information.
So I'm just going to start one of your workflows here. So, so here's one of Krista's workflows. I'm just on a listing here and I say, start a workflow. And here's my listing escrow. Go to next. So remember I talked about the groups. This is showing me, I can just say, this is not an HOA. It wasn't a referral. There's no pool. Wasn't a referral by an agent or a non-agent. I'm gonna leave the rest in here. Oh, it's not a cash transaction. Let's see. So I'm just gonna leave the rest of this in there. Now, below in this bottom section is all of the tasks that were already pre-built for all of my listing escrows, but some of them have been removed. So you'll notice some of the boxes are unchecked because I said it doesn't have a pool, so the pool stuff is removed. So now I go next, but you see this is a wizard, right? This walks me through exactly what I need to remember to do, and I'm just filling out what I can at this point. Anything that I don't know yet, I can always fill in later, and I'll be prompted to fill it in later. But in this case, I can say I don't have a listing coordinator and I don't have a seller transaction coordinator, so I'm going to leave them as me. If I had people, I can choose them from the drop down and assign those tasks to that individual. I go to the next step. It's going to ask me the dates. So any dates, again, any dates that I know, I'm going to put in here. Dates that I don't know yet, I'm just going to leave them blank for now, and I'll be reminded later to fill them out. So I'm just double checking these dates. Sometimes it might fall on a holiday or something like that, and so I might want to change it. But I'll just review them. I go to the next step, and this would only take me a few minutes to go through, typically to get this started, 2 or 3 minutes. And then who's the seller? I'm going to just type in the seller's name here because I forgot to do that earlier maybe. So I'm putting in Brad Johnson. Again, I can just fill out people I know. If I know who the loan officer is already, if I know who all these people in are, I already know who's going to stage it, I put it in there. Done. Boom. Now it says we're creating the activities, which will be available shortly. Now what Realvolve is doing in the background is assigning the tasks to the right people with the proper deadlines based on everything that I put in there. And it's also adding things to my calendar. So if there's certain deadlines or appointments that I told it I want to sync, it's actually syncing those things to my phone calendar to remind me to do those things later. Now imagine the freedom I have where I'm not having to juggle all these reminders in my head. When my pillow hits, or my head hits the pillow at night, I can rest assured that everything has been properly scheduled out, everything has been assigned to the right person, and I can see exactly what's done and what's pending, what needs to be completed tomorrow. The freedom in that is priceless, priceless freedom. So any questions about?
I'm answering some questions just so you know. So I'm listening, but I'm just trying to help people so they don't get frustrated while you're doing that.
Cool. So if and you can make your screen bigger, by the way. If this is small, you should be able to maximize your screen as big as you can. So now I've got all these activities. All these activities are due or past due. So one of the dates I put in there was from April 23rd, 2017. You'll notice I didn't change that. So these activities are saying, well, it's past due because it's from 2017. Obviously, that wouldn't have happened with most of these things. But I've got 55 incomplete activities on this transaction. When I go to my activities list, my default view is going to be what's due today or what's past due. So I have these things and I can actually check some of these things off. So it says all contingencies have been removed to the seller. I can check these off if they have. And then I can hit run and it would email people confirmations that I finished something in some cases. Now, one really cool thing about the system as well, well, I should say two really cool things. And one of these things I know, Krista, is one of your favorite things. But I can go into, let me just go back to that transaction or this listing closing here. I actually get a calendar for each listing, each transaction, each contact, and then each team member I can sort by their calendars as well. So right now I'm looking at only the calendar for this listing. It filters my whole calendar by just this listing when I clicked on it from the listing itself. If I want to see my full calendar, I can go to the full calendar and see everything. And this syncs to my phone, like I said before, it syncs two ways. If I want, I can only see things from team members. I don't necessarily want to see everything from everybody. So I can turn off certain people's calendars and just view my team members' calendars. There's really cool things you can do with calendars to visually see what's coming up. I can sort by date to see only what's due this week. It sorts my activities. I can see them in a full list. I can work right from these lists. Some of these things have checklists in them, so when I click, it pulls things up, and I can work right from this screen. I'm being reminded here to add the contractual and contingency dates. So when I add this date, this actually records the date on the transaction itself or on the listing itself. So I'm working through, these are data entry templates, they're checklists, they're reminders, they're tasks, all in one list. So I can just get stuff done. This is like get work done time. So let's get to some questions. Does that email from Realvolve go to primary account or spam as a bulk email? We actually, Tom, we actually really worked hard to separate out what's called a transactional email. This is what the email industry calls it, not just a real estate term, but transactional emails are one-to-one type emails. Bulk emails are a one-to-many type email. So a one-to-one email is different than a one-to-many email, and we separate those two things out. So it doesn't have to have all of the same rules don't apply, and your one-to-one emails get delivered at a higher rate. You can actually send one-to-one emails through Realvolve from your email server. You can connect to Realvolve through IMAP. We can do all this for you, by the way. So don't worry about all the technical terms. Rest assured, we'll set it up for you so that emails from Realvolve actually come from your email server, just like they do when you're sending it from your inbox or from your phone. Let's see, which workflow is this? This is Krista's listing escrow workflow. Let's see, what about leads? Are there workflows for activities relating to following up with leads that are not in contract yet? Absolutely. So on a contact itself, I'm going to click away from this screen. I'm just going to pull up a random contact. By
the way, I think we've got like over 17 workflows.
Yeah.
So that's just one workflow, right? Meaning, if anything's ever happened in my business, we automate it, and we constantly add to the system. So, for example, you know, we've had some issues come up with solar, so now we're adding, you know, checks and balances about solar into it, so that we don't have to think about it, so nothing gets missed.
Yeah, so you'll see here, Natalie asked the question about leads. I'm on a lead here, and I can start like this. If it was a Zillow lead, I can start it. Realvolve can also start these automatically when your lead comes in. So if you connected it to any of the portals, you can just have that lead come in automatically, have it respond to the lead, and then you get a text message saying that they already got the intro email, but you need to call them. And then their phone number is right there in the notification. You can just click it and call it. So there's really cool things you can do there.
Realvolve, whether you're creating your own landing pages and funnels, whether you're paying for leads through Zillow, or whether you're creating Facebook target market campaigns, Realvolve, we use something called Zapier, and we take all those leads from all those different sources. They automatically go into Realvolve. Realvolve then gives that lead. If it's a listing, I get the listing lead. If it's a buying lead, it goes to one of my buyer's agents. because the lead came through me. Then I pay them to show the homes, and then it puts them on a series of workflows. But with all this being said, I just want to say one thing really quickly, is that don't forget, even as systematized as everything needs to be, you will close more deals if you actually pick up the phone. So remember that leads are great, and everyone always tells me leads, but really leads are easy. That's the hard part, is that actually taking the time to actually call the leads and follow up with them properly. Any system that has all these workflows, not workflows, but campaigns, let's just call it, for keeping in touch with a buyer or a seller. If you're not taking part of that workflow, part of that workflow does not say pick up the phone and make a phone call, text message, video, email. If you're not doing those things, don't even bother with getting the system. You have to actually take personal responsibility in your business and be an active partner in making sure it's not just leads, but they're closings.
Yeah, sometimes we hide behind the technology a little bit too much. It's
Yes.
definitely need to reach out. So people are asking specific questions about like a day in the life of Krista Mashore and how much time you spend on listing appointments, et cetera, et cetera. Look, if you have questions about what Krista does, she's amazing. Her business is run like a really tight ship. She's full of ideas every day, and she does a lot of Facebook live streams and things like that. Just look her up on Facebook. She shares tons of information. Look her up on Facebook and follow her there. Is that right, Krista?
Yeah, they can go. I'll put. I have a group. It's called the 7-Figure Realtor Blueprint.
Yeah.
They can go there, and I give tons of value.
Yeah, so she'll talk about listing appointments and stuff like that. She closes a very, very high percentage of those listing appointments, by the way. Let's see. What truly differentiates Realvolve from others? For example, and then she names some competitors. I've done a lot of research. Well, Julie, I would say the thing that really differentiates us, we have been working on this CRM now for about 7-8 years. And the founder was a real estate agent and broker for 25 years. And the guy that runs our product team, all of the engineers and designs all that, has been building CRMs for 25 years. And the guy that runs our customer service department was an agent, and then he was a trainer for a major brand. And then he was a CRM consultant for 15 years, and then he joined Realvolve. So all of us on the leadership team have been in the real estate industry for a long time, and we always try to see through the BS. We try to see through what are other people just trying to sell us, and what's the real truth? What's the reality behind how to run a successful business? Because there are vendors out there that want to sell you stuff, and look, if you use all of those things correctly, absolutely most of them are going to help you in your business. If not all of them will help you. Everybody has success stories, right? Every one of our competitors, every technology tool, every sales, every lead generation tool, they all have their success stories. But the bottom line is, a sustainable business is built on relationships. It's built on keeping a clean database. It's built on smart automation. It's built on the idea that you don't want to be stuck in the technology. You want to be in front of people and talking to people, just like Krista said, on the phone. So what we want to do is build out smart automation in Realvolve using the workflows, which are totally above and beyond what you will find anywhere else. Of course, we do all the basics that you would expect from a CRM, but the workflow platform goes way above and beyond what you can find anywhere else. And it's all about the personal relationships. It's all about high touch. It's all about making your clients feel special. And it's all about dominating your local market through the relationships that you establish and keep for your entire career. There you go. Tom, you're muted.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So again, my name is Tom Reitman. You probably saw me at the beginning. If you jumped in late, you're like, who's this guy that just appeared? I'm with CAR, California Association of Realtors. Again, my name is Tom Reitman. But I want to, talk about real quick why CAR picked Realvolve for the CRM that we recommend for our members. And I think it is because of the workflows. It is focused. It's real estate focused. So, it will relieve a lot of the stress. I think, Dale, you mentioned putting your head on a pillow at night and being able to go to sleep. I think, and Krista, you mentioned just being able to free up time. And I think it's not just the time that you free up, it's the stress that you free up, knowing that once you put a workflow in place, it's automatically going to set things up and remind you to do things that that you typically sit there and go, wait, did I do that? Wait, what comes next? wait, where am I in this transaction? And I think that's why CAR picked Realvolve as our CRM of choice. So I just wanted to jump in real quick and let you know that this is, and by the way, I come from a technology background. I was in Silicon Valley during the whole .com heydays. I started companies in a garage, literally in a garage. And so I've seen a lot of technology. And just one more little thing about technology, please embrace it. I think one thing we see with Krista is she embraces technology, whether it's Realvolve for her CRM, Zapier, I don't know if you know what that is, but Zapier is a great tool. But a lot of us are older and we fear technology. But let me just say this, those realtors, those up-and-coming realtors, those young kids, technology, they're all about technology. And if you don't embrace it, they're going to embrace it and they're going to outproduce you. So, take the time to learn it. Yes, it's a learning curve and whatnot. But anyway, take the time because this will save you a lot of time and save you a lot of deals. So that's my 2 cents. I'm going to jump out here and let you guys finish.
Thank you, Tom.
I totally agree with that too. I mean, technology is not as hard now as it used to be. Remember, like technology used to be so scary. It's getting easier and easier all the time. I remember when my dad, when texting first came out, okay, my dad's 71 years old and he's like, why do you text? It's so stupid. Just pick up the phone. And it was hard for him. Now my dad like texts everyone emojis and he has little, GIFs and email, video text and you name it. He texts all the time. It's like, Dad, enough texting. My point is that he's 71 and he adapted, right? And you need to adapt because technology is getting simpler and simpler, and it's also simplifying your life more and more. Don't let the fear hold you back. Things that your fear is keeping you from succeeding. If you keep doing what you're doing tomorrow, if you keep doing what you did yesterday, you're not going to have a different outcome tomorrow. If you keep doing what you did, most of you are still doing the same old things you've done for years and years and years because you've been told to do things a certain way, right? Technology and innovation and social media and the internet has changed the way that every single company across the nation is ran, right? Why is it that we as real estate agents are still operating under the same precedents that we were a year ago or 2 years ago or 10 years ago? We've got to change in order for us to see change in our lives and in our business.
Yeah, and I'll say this too, if you're feeling overwhelmed a little bit or you're feeling like you don't even understand the difference between the options out there, you're not sure what to do first or what to do next. Look, we're not in the business of just trying to take everybody's money here at Realvolve. That's not what we want to do. I want to help people. And if I help people, we can make a lot of money in the process. So that's true of all of us, right? Everybody's business, the more help you give to people, the more value you add to people, the better off we're going to be in our business. So we have experts available. Look, I've hired transaction coordinators to work on staff at Realvolve. I've hired trainers from around the industry. We've hired people that are experts at CRMs to help you understand what you should do next. And I always tell all of them that no is a perfectly acceptable answer. So if you get on the phone with us, if you evaluate our tool, our platform, and you don't think that it's going to work for you, no is a perfectly acceptable answer. We're not going to twist anybody's arm. But I promise you, the time you spend with us will be valuable. We'll help you think about your business a little bit differently. If you decide to go with somebody else, if you decide to do nothing now, you will still leave a phone call, email thread with us, having gained some knowledge, having gained tools and weapons that you can apply to your business. So what I want to
support. They have excellent support at Realvolve, which is really, really important to understand that they have really good support. So they're there to support you. And like they only succeed if you succeed, right? So the fact of knowing that, they're not successful if you're not successful means they have every reason to want to make you succeed. And what he said about having, they take my input on Realvolve all the time, and I don't get paid from Realvolve. Realvolve has never given me 1 cent, just so everyone knows that. So I have no vested interest in telling you to use Realvolve. I'm just letting you know that it has completely changed my business. It helps me stay completely automated. It's freed up my stress and given me my time back. And I know a lot of you are thinking you don't believe it, but it really is true. So it's very, very helpful. And I love the fact that CAR, they would never back a product that didn't support you and help your business grow because they have the same objective. They make money when you make money. They want to keep you in this business. So, all the universe is throwing everything at you. Quit looking for every reason as why to resist it. You're on this webinar for a reason. It's free. It's a 14-day free trial. Go use it and then sign up for it and actually implement it, be consistent about it. Don't just go sign up and then everyone gets busy. Be consistent about implementing it. If you really want to have change in your business, do something different today than you did yesterday.
Can you two speak real quickly to those who might be afraid of building workflows? I understand you have workflows that are already built that, you know, instead of them having to remake the wheel, they can use current workflows.
Yeah, we have a whole library of workflows. We've built some of the workflows ourselves internally. We have, like I said, I have transaction coordinators on staff that are building workflows for people. We also can send you through a training with a transaction coordinator. They can actually go through a transaction with you and make sure that workflows are customized to you. That costs a little bit more, but we have free workflows. We have some premium workflows. We have custom workflows that we can build for you. There's lots of options. Just totally depends on where you're at. How tech savvy are you? How deep do you want to go? How bad do you want it? And we can help you get there. So we have trainers, we have people to onboard, we have support reps, we have videos you can watch if you're a do-it-yourselfer, we have the transaction coordinators, and we rely on experts from around the industry like Krista to help us build workflows, give us input on the product. We're really building it. I mean, I really do think about Realvolve as a for real estate by real estate professionals type of a product. So we get feedback from everybody, and we're always trying to get better. Every day we want honest feedback. We want the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we try to apply that to what we're doing. So we don't hide behind anything. We're out there. Join our Facebook community as well. We didn't talk about that, but it is an amazing community of real estate agents that are all focused on process. Some of them are Realvolve customers and some of them are not. So look up the Realvolve community on Facebook. Look Krista up on the 7-figure real estate blueprint.
Realtor.
Realtor blueprint.
And you can also like go to my Homes by Krista page on Facebook, Homes by Krista, and you know you can get some ideas of how I'm operating my business there as well. And then if I can just say something, you know, a lot of you are asking a lot of questions that aren't really related to the CRM aspect of it. And if you would find value, you can talk to Tom, and if you guys email him and he wants to do a live webinar or a webinar where you can just ask me questions about anything and everything, I'm more than willing to do that as well. Because I feel
and I just want to mention that the Facebook that Dale mentioned, their Facebook page is amazing. You talk about a passionate following. They have a very passionate following on Facebook. And the neat thing is, it's almost like a support page too, because you'll see somebody type in a question and 5 people will answer it, you know, and so it's a great way to get support too.
Yeah, start a free trial of Realvolve today. We're here to help you. We're good folks. I'm not hiring a bunch of like college grads still wet behind the ears. We hire people that are dedicated, committed to the industry. Our goal is to elevate the real estate industry, to make every real estate agent better. We want the best of the best to do really well. It's a great industry. It's a great career. We absolutely love it. And we just want to help everybody be a little bit better. Start a 14-day free trial. There's no credit card required. There's no obligation. What'll happen when you start a free trial is we're going to reach out to you with a phone call, so don't be surprised. We want to talk to you, and we want to show you what we've got. So if you don't feel like you got a deep enough dive into what we're doing here, that would be the proper way to do that, is start a free trial. We'll reach out to you, and we'll go deeper, as deep as you want to go. So if you just want the surface level overview, we can do that for you. If you want to go deep, we can do that for you as well. If you want to get on the phone with one of our trainers, we can set that up as well. So start a 14-day free trial. Go to realvolve.com/CAR and just click on the Get Started Now. It's a 2-minute process, if that. And you don't have to talk to us today. We can schedule something out next week. We can schedule something out for the end of the week. But I promise you, it will be worth your time.
So realvolve.com/CAR. I'm just putting it on the site so people see it, right? realvolve.com/CAR, since it's recorded, so you guys know how to get it.
And so, Dale, in 14 days, you think they could get a pretty good handle on the system if they're diligent about it?
Especially if you spend. It's more about the time spent with us, because everybody's looking for something different, and you can click around in there and learn a ton. And we have lots of videos and lots of articles and training for you. But just rely on us. I mean, we want to talk to you. We want to just show you what's relevant to you. It's a powerful platform, and everybody's at a different stage in their business. So if you're a team like Krista and you're a high-power team and you're doing a lot of transactions, the things that are relevant to you are going to be totally different than what's relevant to somebody else. So we don't want to waste your time. We don't want you just clicking around blindly, trying to learn it slowly. We want to get you in there and figure out what matters most to you and your business right now, and make sure you understand whether or not it works for you. And you're going to be the judge of whether you feel like this is a good move for you today. Again, no is always a perfectly acceptable answer to us.
And
But
really quickly say
just
one
start
thing.
the trial though.
Even if you're just a solo agent, this will help you immensely, because it's hard to do things on your own, even if you're only doing a few transactions a year. Just recently, my team has grown because my focus is a little bit different right now, but I used this when it was just me and 2 other people, and we were doing, 100, 140, 145 deals a year, me and 2 people, right? And it's because, so that my point is that if you can be that efficient selling 144 homes truly with a full-time transaction coordinator and a full-time marketing assistant myself, that's 3 people, 144 deals, that it's because of systems like this. It would be impossible for me to have done that had I not had this system, right? Now I have a bigger team because I'm focusing more on coaching. So, but I want you to understand, those deals were done by me. It wasn't me and 10 agents. It was Krista. Krista's leads, Krista's clients, Krista's systems, Krista's processes until just recently. So this works. And quit being haters, quit being, oh no, it doesn't work, no, or just do it. It's free. You're gonna have free access to it. It's 14 days, and it might very well change your life. You all want more time for 49 bucks a month, this can help you.
Yeah, so here's the
Well,
cost.
Yeah.
I just want to say real quick. So you've got 14 days. Come on, anyone can commit to 14 days. If I knew I could lose 10 pounds in 14 days, I would do it. So this is 14 days to change your business. And I think, Krista, you even said change your life. And I think, yeah, if you're making a lot more money, it doesn't just change your business, it changes your whole lifestyle. So give it 14 days. That's my last word.
Yeah, and we're not sticklers. We're not sticklers either. Look, if you need more than 14 days, just ask us for it. But we really just don't think you need that much. You're going to be blown away by what you see before 14 days. And really, like I said, spend 45 minutes on the phone with us. You've got 45 minutes to evaluate your business for the rest of the year. And if you think it's going to be something that's good for you, great. If you don't, we'd love to hear why you don't think so that we can get better and apply your feedback and your criticisms into what we're doing.
All righty. Well, I think we've used up just about every bit of our time here. Thank you, everyone, for sticking around. Looks like pretty much everyone stuck around till the end. If you have any questions, Dale, who should they send questions to? Or
info@realvolve.com. So if you email us info@realvolve.com, there's like 3 or 4 of us that see those emails when they come in, and one of us will respond to you right away.
Perfect. And then also, this webinar is being recorded, so everyone who registered will get an email this afternoon with a link to the recording. And any last words? I'll give it to you all.
Thank you.
Thanks for everybody's time. Start a trial. Do it now.
Yes, implement what you're learning, and be consistent about it. Your business will change.
Thanks. All you guys have a great week, and we'll talk soon.
Have a great day.
Thanks, Tom.
All
Thanks,
right.
Krista.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.